Welcome to Politically Unstable with Charles Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor. I'm your host, Andy Parks, and I'd like to remind you that you qualify for a 50% discount on an annual digital subscription to the Washington Times simply by going to washingtontimes.com/Andy. That's washingtontimes.com/ANDY. All right, let's bring them on. Ladies and gentlemen, Washington Times opinion editor Charlie Hurt. Hello, Charlie.
Hey, Andy. How's it going, buddy?
All right. Media road whores are Biden band's only fans left. What a perfect analogy. Like a band of burnouts, those who are leftover former hippies.
And you know what's really funny about that is some of them have actually like woken up and gotten off the needle, and they're like, "Oh my God, how did I wind up here? Let's get out of here." And they're like starting to turn on him. But there's still those holdouts. There are a couple of those holdouts who can't get it out of their head that this guy is still Obama reincarnated. And they're sticking with him. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, like, take the Hunter Biden stuff. Can you imagine any sitting president with a son doing the things that Hunter Biden has done and selling artwork for hundreds of thousands of dollars simply because he is the son of the president, who also, by the way, has all these very curious financial relations with all of our enemies around the world. And there are emails that show he was trying to peddle influence, sell access to powerful politicians in Washington. And the media is just like, oh yeah, no story there, nothing there. They'll do a story about Hunter Biden's artwork. Isn't it remarkable?
It looks like something I did in preschool, you know?
Yeah, except you didn't have a crack pipe in preschool. He's literally blowing alcohol, I think it is. I actually spent some time like looking this up because I just, like so many things in this world these days, I can't wrap my brain around. I can't, like, it's like the pronouns thing. I can't, my brain is incapable of understanding what the hell these people are talking about with pronouns. It's like, I'm sorry, what? I don't get it. And so I'm confronted with this artwork stuff, and they're talking about, and they don't even mention the crack pipe in the artwork. They call it like a steel tube or something like that. But you get into it, and it's a crack pipe, and he's blowing alcohol, not the drinking alcohol, but like rubbing alcohol or something, or some sort of like alcohol you would use for, like, I guess for like paint removal or something. I don't know. And he blows it through the crack pipe, which is basically a metal or glass straw that you smoke crack out of, and you blow it, and then that makes these little weird designs on the paper, and he is selling that for hundreds of thousands of dollars to Chinese businessmen. Still not clear what their sudden interest in crack pipe art is.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, Biden says the Republicans have to let us do our job. They're in control. Maybe not.
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, this is the silver lining to all of this. Democrats are in charge of everything. This is Joe Biden's baby. And don't forget, Joe Biden has been at this for 50 years. There is nothing else Joe Biden has ever done in his life but politics. This is the moment he's been preparing for his entire adult life. And he has no idea what he's doing. And I love how the Democrats are going after Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema because they're so appalled. They cannot believe that you have these people who have reservations about spending $5.5 trillion that we don't have, that we're going to put on our children's credit card, but whatever. They think that's the problem. Maybe the problem is you have Bernie Sanders in charge of the budget committee. Maybe if you put a socialist in charge of the budget committee in the Senate, you're going to wind up with problems. That might have been the red flag, but all they want to focus on is Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. Kyrsten Sinema, my hunch is, and kind of the tenor I get from reading lots of stories about her, I admire her. She's probably deep down a left-wing crazy. She's got left-wing crazy tendencies, without a doubt. But she represents the state of Arizona. And she represents people who are not left-wing crazies. And she's doing what she's supposed to do, which is, I'm sure she's not violating any principles, but she's holding dear her responsibility to represent the people of Arizona. And I think in a lot of ways, sometimes these people whose deep down tendencies are maybe more conservative or more liberal than they let on, sometimes they're a little bit more cognizant about abiding by the wishes of their constituents. But that is kind of what the whole Senate was designed for, and it's probably a good thing. But it's just so funny that she's the problem, not the guy that honeymooned in the Soviet Union, not the avowed socialist in charge of the budget committee. That's not the problem. The problem is over here, Kirsten Sinema, who is representing the people of her state. Can you imagine chasing Bernie Sanders into the bathroom? I just thought of that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine chasing Bernie Sanders into the bathroom and pinning him in his bathroom stall and filming the whole thing? That would really be something to watch. I do not want anyone to do that, but I'm saying that if it were to happen, it would be an interesting thing to see.
Well, Biden brushed it off as, hey, look, that's just politics. I want to know what his reaction would be had that been Nancy Pelosi in the stall.
Yeah, no kidding. And a bunch of yahoos in MAGA hats? Oh, my God. Could you imagine what this place would have done?
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe Biden, this is all he's ever done is politics. He's never done anything else. He's never made a dime of his own money. He's never created a job using his own money. All he's ever done is spend other people's money and do politics. And yet he's so bad at it. He's so stupid. He's so dumb. He said, what did he say? He said, it happens to everybody. Get Secret Service. You'll be okay. What in the world are you talking? The poor woman was trapped in a toilet stall. And it's just like, that happens to everybody. It's no big deal. Get Secret Service. Well, if you have Secret Service like I do, it doesn't happen. That's the only time it doesn't happen. So, she needs to get herself some Secret Service. I'm sorry, who's paying for the secret? And we can criticize Donald Trump, his tweets and all that kind of stuff, all you want. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who had never been in politics, the most he'd ever been involved with politics was to rescue the ice skating rink in Central Park and salvage it from complete ruination by the city government in New York City. And he retrieves that and makes it a wonderful place that millions of people have visited. That's the sum total of his experience with politics. And yet he was able to accomplish all that he accomplished with zero experience in politics. And he did a lot of things that if you took the hatred and the style stuff away, 90% of Americans would agree with, like not having a massive crisis at the border, things like that. And then you compare that to a guy like Joe Biden, who has had 50 years of political experience, and you wind up with a complete bozo who says things like, well, it happens to everybody. She needs to get over it.
Then there's the know-nothing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez referring to $1 trillion as a crumb. Do you think she was raised and taught by liberals?
Yeah, and it's really funny. She also talks about how, and I'm from Brooklyn, like she's some tough gal street fighter. It's amazing. And this is the part that I find so, gravely disturbing about all this. It's the sense of entitlement that somebody like Ocasio-Cortez has, that you paying $1 trillion or $2 trillion is a crumb, and that anything less is you not bearing your responsibility or bearing your fair share or whatever. When in truth, she does not have children. I assume one day she may have children of her own, and this might at that point be a little bit more important to her. But every time these people talk about this stuff, they've spent all of their money. They've mortgaged their children's futures to the tune of $28 trillion, every dime of which was, quote unquote, paid for when Congress passed it. And now they want to tack on $5.5 trillion. I mean, you think about in your own life how hard you work to sort of save something over that you can leave for your children, or everything you do to provide for your children so as not to saddle them with horrifying debts. And these people do it with abandon, and they don't care. And in fact, they moralize it and say that you are somehow shirking your duties if you don't dump $5.5 trillion in debt on children that you will never live to pay off. only your children and grandchildren will be shackled with this for decades, if not centuries. And this is what these people want to do. These are the fat, lazy, do-nothing people who have inherited wealth, inherited this country. And they want to turn all of this around and wring every last bit of wealth out of what they have inherited and then dump nothing but debt as far as the eye can see onto their children. Mm-hmm. What kind of disgusting people would do something like that?
Well, speaking of disgusting people, one more thing before I let you run. Smarmy Terry McAuliffe, did he do enough damage to kill his chances for the governor's position?
I hope so. I mean, in any normal race, in any normal place, that election would be over. But I mean, you know, he went out there, and what is it they say? He said the quiet part out loud. Yep. He went out there and just said, I don't believe it. Parents shouldn't be in charge of their kids' education. They shouldn't be allowed to decide what their kids learn. Who the hell do you think should be? But this is the way these people think. These people they believe the government serves itself. The government serves the bureaucracy. And as such, they know everything. Parents know nothing. The bureaucracy should have all the control. Parents should have none. Shut up. Sit down and pay your taxes. And of course, that's why they have this horrifying situation out of the Department of Justice opening up these case files, trying to charge parents with terrorism for going to school boards and giving school boards a piece of their minds about what they see these school districts doing to their children through these education tactics.
Yep, sad story. Folks, you can read all of Charlie's columns at WashingtonTimes.com. Charlie Hurt, great to have you on. We'll do it again next week. Thanks.
Sounds good, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Politically Unstable with Charlie Hurt. As I mentioned, you can read all of Charlie's columns at WashingtonTimes.com. While you're there, check out our great selection of podcasts. I'm Andy Parks. Have a great day.